Right, everyone, we'll make a start. Good afternoon and thank you for joining us this afternoon. We're going to talk about your options. Before we do, we've got some members of staff online who are also joining us for assembly. We've got Mrs. Mann, who's your student support officer. We've got Mrs. Smith, who's Senko. We've got fantastic Mrs. Martin, who's your achievement leader, and Mr. Crooks with us this afternoon. And I think the fact that we've got staff online who are watching this assembly alongside you just goes to underline the commitment we've all got to making sure that you have everything you need to get through your options process. Just to make you aware, guys, that I am recording this assembly this afternoon, and that's so that we can pop it on the website, and so that if you need to go back to it at any point to look at the different things that we've talked about, you've got that there to refer to. It is going to be a longer assembly, but at least you are sitting through that in either the comfort of your own home or you're in one of our classrooms, and it's lovely to see our Year 9 students who are in school with us at the moment logged on. Just before we move on, I just want to say what an amazing job you're all doing with your online learning and the change to remote learning. For any of you who remember the first lockdown, it feels very different, doesn't it, this time in terms of the proportion of your lessons that are being delivered live or in line with your timetable. And we were absolutely blown away last week by the high numbers of you that were logging on and completing your learning. I remember when you joined us in Year 7, and I remember speaking to Mr. Crook, and we both thought that there was something quite special about you as a year group. And you've always been a little bit of a trailblazing year group. You've always been the ones who have set the standard for everybody else. And I'm hoping that that's going to continue through your options journey. And as you move towards now making the first decision around what your next stage of your education looks like. We're really pleased that you've got lots of staff around to support you. We're really pleased that everybody's still committed in the same way that they are to being able to get you through this process and help you to choose the subjects that you want to choose. I know it's difficult, and what we're facing now is you having your options process through the lockdown period, and you not being in school for the process when you would normally be choosing your options. We're all absolutely committed to ensuring that that you have everything you need to make the choices that are right for you. So before we start, I just want to tell you how sorry we all are that we're having to do this remotely and that we can't do this face to face with you. However, we promise that we will make this just as valuable an experience as it has been in previous years to make sure that you can make the right choices for you. So in terms of options, this is where you begin to make your decisions about your future. And I'm going to say that word a lot. This is all about you and and this is probably the first time and the biggest decision you will have ever made throughout your journey through school. And that includes that you are absolutely choosing which subjects you want to follow for the next 2 years. So that's from September 2021 through Year 10 and 11. And you're going to choose what that offer looks like and what your curriculum model looks like. It's easy to think about a future when we're not within COVID, but I think one of the things we've found is that at the moment that's incredibly difficult because we're all stuck in here and now. We're all stuck in COVID and things feeling, to be honest, just a little bit rubbish. But I promise you guys that this will be over at some point, and when it is over, you have to have done everything you can to give yourself the best chance of success and to embrace and start to shape what your future looks like. So I'm really going to encourage you, alongside Mrs. Martin, to think beyond the here and now. I want you to start and think about, what does the next year look like? What does the year after look like? What kind of house do I want to be living in? What job do I want? What do I want to be like as a person when I've finished at Penistone Grammar School? And we're going to do lots and lots to help you understand what that looks like as we move through the next 6 weeks. So we are going to make a commitment to you because we're going to ask a lot of you over the next 5-6 weeks as you decide your subjects. And if we're asking a lot from you, it's really important that we give you something in return. So our commitment to you, and that's just not Mrs. Martin, Mrs. Mann and myself, that's all your teachers. Our commitment to you is that we will ensure you have everything you need to enable you to achieve your goals and aspirations. And that commitment will continue beyond these next 5 weeks, right through Year 9, Year 10, Year 11, and into our Post-16 centre. You absolutely have this in your hands. You just have to let us support you to get you where you need to be, but it is all down to you and the choices that you make from this point forward. So our options offer is built on two different elements, really, and these are the things that we put in place to ensure that you have everything you need, regardless of what route you see yourself moving on to beyond Penistone Grammar School. The first element is the structure of how we put our courses together and the subjects that we offer you, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that. The second element is the support that we offer you, not only through your options process, but beyond, to make sure that, like we said, you have everything you need when you leave us to absolutely succeed in life and achieve everything that you want to achieve. And I still believe that there are some of you sat in front of me who absolutely don't know quite what you're capable of yet. And I'm really looking forward to seeing those students achieve beyond their expectations. So your Key Stage 4, your Year 10 and 11 curriculum offer looks like this. And I know this chart looks really mind-blowing. I'm going to talk you through it briefly, but it is something that'd be worthwhile coming back to. So we want to make sure you leave us with a broad and balanced curriculum. So what do I mean by that? What I mean is that I want to make sure you leave us with a range of subjects that will help you get to wherever you want to get to next. But we also, within that, need to recognise the importance of your core subjects. So we need to recognise the importance of English, maths and your core science. And you'll just have to excuse my presentation, guys. Under where it says core, above Bastics 3 and 4, that should say core science. So we're going to still continue to commit to giving you a high quality education in English, maths and core science, and that will form the basis of your timetable. And in years 10 and 11, you will study 9 periods a fortnight each of English and maths. And the government also recognise that those subjects are critically important, because when you get your grades, they double weight them. So they will give you twice as many points for English and maths as they do for any other subjects. Science is also key to a solid foundation in terms of your education. So for science, you're going to study 10 periods per fortnight, and that's for the trilogy science. You will get opportunity through the options process to choose separate sciences, so to study chemistry, biology and physics separately. Science is going to give you at least 2 GCSEs. And that contributes to what we call the English Baccalaureate. So that's a range of qualifications that I'll talk about a little later on. So beyond that, you're then going to get opportunity to choose 3 subjects that make you happy, 3 subjects that you are interested in, that you think you can succeed in, and that lead to your future progression. The first one is going to be a green optional subject. Your green subjects are subjects that fill that middle basket set. So 3, 4 and 5 English Baccalaureate subjects. That tells employers, it tells future educational establishments, it tells the people who are going to be working with you beyond Penistone Grammar School that you have a really good, solid foundation in key subjects that are classed as academic subjects. And people will look at that profile and think, great, that's somebody I want to employ or somebody I want to work with. After you've chosen one from the green basket, you're going to then choose your 2 other subjects, which are purple optional subjects, and they can be other recognised qualifications. Those qualifications are as equally as important as the other subjects you study. However, they're subjects that may be more practical in nature or may be completely different to things that you've studied before. For example, things like technology, business, economics, and we're going to talk about your subject offer in a little moment. Your final basket will be filled with whichever grade is the lower between English literature and English language. And to have a good foundation in English, you need to be studying literature and language. So the subject that you get the lower grading will go into basket number 8, and that's because the subject you get the highest grading will be double weighted. Your options subjects you're going to do for 6 hours a fortnight. I want you to have a look at this and I want you to understand what that's made up like, because that gives you the breadth of your curriculum. However, I don't want you to spend too much time worrying about it or thinking about it, because we've structured your options to make sure that you have all of these baskets filled in a way that makes sure when you leave us, your profile is absolutely where it needs to be to keep every door open for you, subject to the level of outcomes that you secure. So the important bit, and I think this is the thing that you're all waiting for, what subjects are you going to be able to choose from for your 2021 to 2023 curriculum offer? They're all there. I'm going to give you a minute to read through them, but they're the offer that you will have heard siblings or other students in other year groups studying previously. You can see we've got things that you'll recognise, like art and design, history, geography, Spanish, PE, music, alongside some things you may not have seen before, things like business, economics, sociology, sport. There's lots and lots of things to choose from on there. And in terms of other secondary schools, you probably have one of the broadest offers of any school in the country to choose from. There's not many schools where you have as many subjects to choose from as you do here. What we want you to recognise is that people learn in different ways. So as part of your offer, we're offering you some vocational qualifications. Vocational qualifications are designed to allow you the freedom to explore through practical work qualifications that are more closely aligned to the world of work. The reason we like vocational qualifications and the reason why they suit some students particularly well is because they're assessed in a completely different way to GCSEs. For a GCSE, you'll study the content of the course over 2 years, and then right at the end, you'll take 2-3 examinations that will decide what your grade looks like for a GCSE. For a vocational qualification, such as a BTEC or Cambridge National in Sport, you'll study the content and do exams all the way through the course. So you'll learn a bit, test a bit, learn a bit, test a bit, learn a bit, test a bit. So it's examined in a different way. It's worth having a conversation with your teachers about whether you think that that type of course would suit you or not. A long time ago, not quite as long back when I studied exams, but a little bit of a time ago, there was a bit of a stigma attached to vocational qualifications insofar as people didn't think they were as good as studying a GCSE. Studying a vocational qualification will absolutely still get you where you need to be, and it carries the same amount of credibility now as GCSE courses did. Before they were seen as a bit of a lesser subject. That is definitely not the case now, and they're recognised as credible, valuable qualifications with scrutiny and examination elements built into them. So please don't put off studying a vocational qualification if you know that the learning style of that is something that would suit you, and Mrs. Martin, myself and any of your teachers will be happy to have a conversation with you about what that looks like. In terms of the vocational qualifications we offer at Penistone, we've got 3 different qualifications: health and social care, construction and sport. Mr. Dobson's the person to speak to about construction. Health and social care is Miss Halawane, and sport is Mrs. Eales or Miss Downing. Next we're going to talk about the support that's available to you, and the support is available to help you through the options process and beyond. And this is the bit where we've had to be a little bit more creative around how we support you through your options process. Charlie, you've got your hand up. I will come to you at the end for any questions, so don't worry at the moment. Thank you. The options information webpage is where your one-stop shop for everything options is going to be. And this is something new that we've not done before. So it's been designed by Mrs. Barraclough, especially for Year 9. It will go live on Wednesday, and the idea is that Mrs. Martin and myself will continue to add to the information webpage to make sure that anything we need from you or anything we think will be useful to you is available on that webpage. The web address is there for you. I will send it out to you separately so that you can get hold of that web address. It will go live on Wednesday at some point around dinner time. On it, when you access it on Wednesday, there will be an introduction video for me, which will cover part of what we're talking about in assembly, but we'll go into some things in more detail. It will have videos from all of your subject specialists, and there'll be a video for each course that we're offering. There will be an information leaflet to download. There will be information, written information about the options process, and there'll be some information from Mrs. Martin within there. The options information page, as I said, will keep growing and we'll keep adding to it as we go through. And we'd also really like your suggestions of things that you would like to see on there if we've not included them on there. So keep feeding back to us. We want this to be as useful as it possibly can be for all of you. The next thing that we've got happening after Wednesday is our options information evening, and that's taking place this Thursday between 6 and 8, and your parents will have had a letter home about this earlier in the week. The options information evening is an excellent opportunity for you to be able to speak to subject specialists. What will happen is there will be a link again on the web page that you will access on the evening, and you will join live Q&A sessions with, for example, if it's business, Mr. Staniforth. You'll be able to post questions in Mr. Staniforth's chat and he'll answer those. You'll be able to speak to him about different elements of the course and generally find out more information around what those courses entail. You might think that you know everything about a course, so you might think that you want to study citizenship, you know everything about citizenship, so you don't need to worry about joining the chat on the evening. I can guarantee there will be questions that other people will have that you haven't even thought about. So even if you are absolutely confident in the subjects you want to study and you think you know everything about them, my recommendation is that you still join the options information evening, you still go in and join the chats for the subjects that you want to study. Let your teachers know you're interested and find out as much information as you possibly can. On Thursday, Mrs. Martin and I will also be running alongside Mrs. Mann a drop-in session for general questions about options. So you may have some questions that you want to ask. That is not really in relation to a particular subject, it's just general questions. Mrs. Martin, Mrs. Mann and I will be really pleased to hear from you on Thursday and answer those questions. So you can access that link from the main website on Thursday evening as well. The next thing we've got going on, taster sessions. So this is a try before you buy opportunity, and you will have heard about this in previous years. The difference is, guys, we can't do it in the way that we've done normally for students who have gone before you. So we've had to be a little bit creative around what this looks like. But we still think that the taster sessions are a valuable opportunity for you to really try subjects before you take them. Because you need to understand what you're buying into, what you're signing up for the next 2 years. The taster sessions we have available this year are for courses that you haven't studied before this time. So we've got business studies, citizenship, construction, economics, health and social care, photography and sociology. These courses will be delivered in one or two ways. You will either be asked to join a live lesson or invited to join a live lesson if you sign up for a taster session in one of these subjects between 2:30 and 3:15, 3:30 one day after school. And you just do that online in the way that you would your normal learning. Or you may have to access a pre-recorded lesson in your own time and complete an activity that links into the content that you've learned to give us an insight and let us know that you've accessed that content. Some of you may be wondering why citizenship's on there, because you do RCS, for Religious and Citizenship Studies. Citizenship, it's the first time we've offered a taster session in citizenship. The reason we're doing it is because citizenship at GCSE is very different to anything you would have studied at Key Stage 3, so through years 7, 8 and 9. Citizenship's an amazing course that links into so many different career routes. It has so many links into lots and lots of different opportunities. It covers government and politics, it covers society, it covers the makeup of society, and it covers how people work and live together and what we all need to succeed, including justice and injustice, the criminal system, and how governments are formed in different countries are governed. Like I said, it's a really good leading subject to anything else you want to do, particularly if you're thinking about public services, police force, fire brigade, something like that. So the first time, and especially for you, Year 9, we're offering taster sessions in citizenship with Mrs. Needham. There is a deadline to sign up for taster sessions, and I believe it's on a later slide, but I think it's the 22nd of January, guys. We need you to do that so that we can get the content out to you, whether it's a pre-recorded lesson or whether it's content that you need to access after school in your own time. The next thing we're doing is kudos session. So this is something we would normally do in school, and Kudos is a fantastic programme that you can access in your own time. We're going to, through your computer lessons, one of your computing lessons will be dedicated to a Kudos session where you'll get everything you need. You'll have a pre-recorded introduction from me to download, and then you'll be able to spend the rest of that session investigating Kudos. When you go on to Kudos and you get your own unique login, you'll complete some questions and some different questionnaires, and you, based on your answers of what you like, what you don't like, where you see your skills lying, it will give you some idea about different careers, and it will tell you how much those careers pay and what they can lead on to and what level of qualification you need to pursue those careers. The average salary at the moment is £27,500 in Great Britain. You have to work out whether you want to be paid more than that. And if you do, that will involve extra work and extra qualifications and an extra level of commitment. And you'd be surprised when you look on Kudos what levels of salary some jobs command. A train driver, for example, gets paid in excess of £40,000 for driving trains. So it will give you lots of opportunity to potentially explore careers that you've not seen before, but also think about how they fit into your future. And that might influence what subjects you want to choose now. We like to progress your options with some involvement from employers, so you can see the direct correlation between the subjects you're choosing and how they link into future employment opportunities. This is the one at the moment that's taking a little bit more planning, and I'm working with Mrs. Booker at the moment on testing something around DT that'll be driven through our website and launched through your lessons. But we are working up some employer engagement opportunities, so you can get opportunity to speak to industry professionals around what the choices that you're making now can lead to in your future. But please bear with me, there will be more news coming shortly around what our employer engagement opportunities look like. It may be that some of you already know what jobs you want in the future, and Mrs. Martin and I would be really pleased to hear from you and for you to share that information with us. The final part of the support that we offer is high quality guidance, and that will take place with myself and other members of the senior leadership team, with Mrs. Martin, with representatives from the SEND team, and that will take place after February half term but before Easter and once you've made your choices. This year, those guidance meetings are going to be more critical than ever before, and that's because of this period of time where you may not have had the confidence to ask the questions that we hope you will do that inform your options choices. Your guidance meetings will be opportunity for you to sit down with one of us with the choices you've made, where you want to be and your personal statement, and talk about whether they're the right choices for you. It's not our job to say yes or no, although sometimes we might be quite firm in that guidance. It's our role to guide you into the things that are right for you, where we know you're going to be happiest, where you're going to succeed, and where you're going to achieve absolutely the best you can out of this next period of time that you're spending with us all at Penistone Grammar School. We want you to leave us with high quality qualifications. For us, it's not about the quantity of qualifications you leave. We want you to leave us with the best grades possible, that are the best grades for you. And we're not interested in you all collectively. We want to look at you as an individual and work with you as an individual and work out what that looks like for you, your circumstances, and what we know you're capable of. I want to just talk briefly about the English Baccalaureate. I don't want to spend too long on this, but it is something that some students do discount far too easily. The English Baccalaureate is not a qualification in itself, but it is a measure of success in some key subjects, and it does open doors for you moving forward. So the English Baccalaureate, to achieve that, what you need to do is achieve a qualification in English, maths, history or geography, the sciences and a language. So when you're looking at your options choices to tick the English Baccalaureate box, you need to have a qualification in either history or geography and French or Spanish. Whilst it's not a qualification itself, it is something that particularly universities will look for. And there's a real correlation between the proportion of students who gain places at Oxford and Cambridge and Russell Group universities to those who leave secondary school with that suite of qualifications, that range of qualifications. If you know now And let's face it, everyone, £9.5 for university. You need to go to the best one you possibly can. If you know now that university is something that you're striving for, well, let's strive for Oxford or Cambridge. Let's strive for a Russell Group University. And it's really important that you think about whether the English Baccalaureate suite of qualifications has a role to play for you in that. The biggest barrier usually to students doing the EBAC, as it's called and shortened to, is that students think that they're no good at languages. Trust me, you all talk to me. In fact, some of you, I can't stop talking to me. If you can speak English, you can speak another language. And yes, it might be challenging. It might require a bit more work from you, but I don't believe that you can't do it. And we will support students who need support if that's something that's interesting for you. If you want to talk about that a little bit more, you can have a chat with particularly Mrs. Dobson, Mr. Garcia, or Mrs. Robinson in terms of the history, geography and languages element, and they'll be really pleased to talk to you about whether that's something that they think would be suitable for you. So moving on, I want to talk to you about pathways, and I'm sure you will have heard from students who've gone before that some students get to do 3 GCSEs and some students get to do 4 GCSEs. The pathway that everyone follows is options pathway 1, which is the 3 subject pathway, which is the process that we've talked about a little bit earlier in this assembly. While we recognise that students' quality of qualifications is the most important thing, we do recognise that some students can have more doors open to them and still secure those high quality outcomes by doing a 4th GCSE. The students who do a 4th GCSE will study less time in English, maths, PE and RCS. So you would do 8 instead of 9 hours of English and maths. You wouldn't study RCS as part of your timetable, but I will talk about that in a little moment. And you would only do 1 period of PE. But using that time, you would get the opportunity to study a 4th GCSE in 5 hours a fortnight. And that would be one of either science, it would be French, geography, history, or Spanish. It's particularly useful for those students who want to potentially do the English Baccalaureate suite of qualifications and separate science, but don't necessarily want to give up on drama or technology or some of the practical subjects that they absolutely love and are the things that get them out of bed in the morning. Mrs. Martin, myself, your English and maths teachers have recommended which students we feel could access the 4 GCSEs without it compromising their English and maths grade. And English and maths, because of the importance of those to your future success, we have to make sure that we're not compromising the quality of those grades. We need you to come out with really good English and maths grades, because in our experience, we know that that's what will secure more than anything else your future. So if we're happy and confident that you can secure good quality outcomes in your geography and history, and in your English and maths, and if we think that the pressure of an additional subject won't compromise the quality of the outcomes in your other subjects, then we have recommended that you do 4 GCSEs. Now, it doesn't matter which pathway you're on. If we've put you on options pathway 1, or we've put you on options pathway 2, and you don't agree that that's the right place for you, we are happy to have that conversation. This is based on the information we know and the information we have based on your last 3 years with us of where we think you would secure the best opportunities to open the most doors for you and for your future. You may look at it and you may get a letter later, because we're going to write to you this evening or tomorrow at the latest to tell you which pathway you're on. You may get that letter and you may think, oh, Mrs. Martin thinks I need to do 4 GCSEs. There's no way I want to do 4 GCSEs. That's fine. We just want you to have a conversation with us. On the converse of that, you may have got a options form that has 3 GCSEs pathway on there, and you may think, oh goodness me, I really wanted to do 4 GCSEs because I wanted to do X, Y and Z. Again, that's absolutely fine. We just need you to have a conversation with us so we can talk through what the barriers or the challenges may be that may mean that you have to put a little bit more effort in or work in a little bit of a different way to achieve that. Anybody who is doing the extended pathway, so the 4 GCSE route, as we've said, you'll do it in 5 hours per fortnight, and it'll take time from English, maths, at PE and core RCS, and you'll choose from French, geography, history, separate science and Spanish. It is a requirement that alongside that you also study independently your personal and social development online programme. As we've said quite early on in your education with us, our job is not just to get you to leave us with GCSE qualifications. Our job is to make sure you leave us as well-rounded, respectful individuals who can contribute really well to society and go on to be able to manage risk and look after themselves and just have a really good, fulfilled, positive life when you haven't got us with you. To do that, there are elements of your education that you are statutorily entitled to study, and that all falls within the personal and social development programme. And Mrs. Needham has worked hard with her team to put together an online programme, and it'll cover all the topics you need, as well as take you through some regular termly assessments of your progress that will be conducted through quizzes. It is an expectation that if you are doing the 4 GCSE pathway, that you are prepared to do that online course in your own time, and it'll be termly tasks that you'll be set and termly assessment of progress through quizzes. There won't be a GCSE at the end of that or a qualification at the end of that, but it will be critical and vital in ensuring that you can go on and lead a full and positive life, and it'll give you all the information and all the guidance you need to be able to do that. So we can give you all this, guys. We can set the structure, we can give you the support, we can provide the right conditions for you to succeed, but you absolutely have to want this. Nobody turns up any day and they've got everything just laid at their feet. The only things that we ever achieve are achieved through really hard work, dedication and commitment. And your options and your GCSE qualifications or your vocational qualifications that you work towards and achieve over the next 2 years are no different. I really want you to think about how much you want your future to be bright. I want you to think about how much you want your future to be full of nice cars and nice houses and good jobs and a lovely family and 3 dogs and whatever other pets you want. None of those things come without hard work. So please, 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 you need to absolutely ensure you maximise your chance of success. We cannot do that bit for you. And it's already started and it will continue to start through the effort you put in, your attitude to your learning, your attendance, your progress, your commitment and your conduct. You need to take control of your future and be the best version of you that you can be. And whilst you might not think that those things are important, because some of the subjects that you're studying, you're not going to be studying, you're going to choose to drop as you move into year 10. If we have courses where we've got limited places and we have an excess of students who want to access those places on that course, we're not just going to be looking at the profile for that particular subject. We're going to be looking across a range of factors, and it's going to come down to these things, particularly effort, attitude and commitment. And if you're a student who's not demonstrating those at the moment, we've got you sat at the side of somebody who is absolutely turning up and putting out every single lesson they have, we're going to give the place to the person who's putting the effort in. It's not too late if you think you need to work on that to turn that around. And it tells me you want to, because I've got 264 of you sat in an assembly on Friday, period 5. So I absolutely know that you want this, and I absolutely know you can do it, and you've demonstrated such positive things all the way through your schooling with us. We are so proud of what you do and continue to do year 9. So let's not fall at this next hurdle. Every day, let's bring your best self to all your online learning, to your lessons and everything else that you do moving forwards, and let's help you to make the right choices about your future. So lots of talking, lots of information to take in. Please remember, this assembly is going to be available for you to look back over should you want to. What happens now? You'll be getting a letter or an email that'll go to you and your parents, which will confirm which pathway you've been assigned to. You will get that by no later than the end of the day tomorrow. If you want to discuss accessing a different pathway, you absolutely can. And when I send you the letter with your form, there'll also be a link to an online sign up that will request an appointment with Mrs. Martin. And Mrs. Martin is happy to speak to anybody who thinks they may be on the wrong pathway or may want to be considered for a different pathway. So all you need to do when you get your letter, if you want to talk to somebody about being on a different pathway, is fill the form in, and Mrs. Martin, potentially me or some other of your teachers, will contact you to have a chat through why you are where you are and what you're thinking, and then we can work out the right way forward for you. Remember, the options webpage goes live on Wednesday, the 13th of January. You'll be able to access the webpage at that address there, and I'll get this presentation out to you so you can you can have that website available for you. Options information evening, we really want to see as many of you there as we possibly can between 6 and 8 o'clock. As we've said before, absolutely essential to find out all the information you need to know about the courses that you're going to study. Sign up for taster sessions is the 22nd of January midday. So if you want to study a course that you've not studied before that's on the taster session list, make sure you sign up. You will not be able to access a place on a course if you haven't done the taster session phase, because we need to know you know what that course entails. Year 9 parents and students evening may feel separate to options, but actually is a really critical part in the options process, because it gives you a chance to speak to your subject teachers about whether they think that the courses you're thinking of studying are the right ones for you. The Year 9 parents and students evening will be virtual. Your parents have had information about that, and I'm going to send them some more information this evening or tomorrow. Booking for parents' evening opens on Sunday. I would recommend you're limited to 6 appointments. I would recommend you sit down with your parents and talk about which subjects you're thinking about studying, and try and get appointments with the teachers of those subjects. And this is the date I want you to remember. If you remember nothing else from my presentation, and I really hope you'll remember more than this, but if you don't, this is the one thing I need you to remember. Your options form must be returned by no later than Friday the 12th of February. And I can already hear some of you sat there saying, but miss, we're not in school. How on earth am I going to get my form back to you by then? There are lots of ways you can do it. You can post it, you can send me a photo of it, you can drop it off in school, you can email it to me. Whatever you want to do to get that to me, I really need it for the Friday the 12th of February. And some of you might be wondering why we're not extending that deadline given that we're in closure period. The truth is, guys, that we build the timetable around what you choose. So you will make your options choices. We will block them over February half term, and then we will build the rest of our entire school timetable and decide which staffing we need based on the subjects you choose. So nothing can happen until we give you opportunity to choose your subjects. And if we were to delay it, it may mean that we may make choices about where staffing is and what courses we put on that don't fit with where your hopes and aspirations are. So that's why that deadline is critical. Throughout this process, you have your own dedicated email address that you can use and your parents can use, and that's options@penistone-gs.uk. Mrs. Ryan, who works alongside me, will be manning that, so that if you have any questions or you need any information, there's somebody there on hand all the time who can respond to those. When I say all the time, guys, she does have to sleep, so it'll be during school time. I just want to quickly go through completing your options forms, because you'd be amazed how many students don't get this quite right. And I think it's either excitement or nerves, but you will get an options form on email that will look like this. The first thing you need to do is please remember to put your name on it. My psychic powers fail me, and I can't work out who you are if you don't give me your name. So please put your name on there. There's 2 different versions of the options form. There's the option selection form, and then there's an option selection form for the extended pathway, and that's got extended just written on the end of it. So make sure you're filling in the right one. If you lose your form or you lose your email, don't worry, the forms will be available to download from our school website from your options page. The first step you're going to take once you've done your name is you're going to decide which of your green subjects, and you've probably forgotten all about green and purple subjects, guys, but you can look back at this assembly if you need a reminder about that, or there'll be information on the website. You're going to select one from the list that we've got there. After that, you're going to choose 2 subjects from the purple subjects, and you'll notice that the green subjects are also in that list too, and that's because if you're somebody who particularly likes humanity subjects, there's nothing stopping you from doing history and geography. Couple of rules here. The subjects must be different to those selected in step 1, so you can't choose the same green subject twice. You can't, for example, have Miss Goldstraw for double geography. That's not possible. You have to choose 2 different subjects. And because technology subjects are the same qualification, you cannot choose more than one of graphics, resistant materials and textiles. Construction and food, they're completely different courses. You come out with a different qualification, but textiles, graphics and resistant materials are all classed as design and technology subjects, just in different disciplines. If you're on the extended pathway, you'll then get to choose an additional subject. So you'll then get to choose from Spanish, history, geography, separate sciences, and French will also be on that list this year. Once you've done that, we'll then ask you about science. So if you are thinking about doing separate science, your teachers will have already had a think about whether that's the right thing for you. And with science, there are so many skills and pieces of knowledge and information that you gain from that are beyond science, that actually help you in life. It's really important that we get you on the right course. And we run 2 courses at Penistone, the Trilogy Science, which you're just doing the 10 hours a fortnight, or the separate science that you can choose to do biology, chemistry and physics as part of your options offer. We want to make sure that the science qualifications you come out with, again, with this idea of quality, are the best ones, the best outcomes you could possibly secure. So your science staff have gone through the data and they've said, we think that these are the students who would succeed on separate sciences, and your form, when you receive it, will be pre-populated with that information, and there'll be a letter from science for those students, just a little bit more detail around the separate science course and more information regarding that. Again, as with everything we do, we are not saying if there's not a yes in that box that you cannot do separate science. All we're saying is that there may be challenges that you need to consider in terms of commitment and effort, or extra commitment and effort, before you select that. So what we're asking you to do is to have a conversation with either Mrs. Beatson or Mr. Unwin before you submit your form. And it says here that we want a signature from them. Because we're not in school, we're just going to ask them to email either myself or Mrs. Ryan to say that they're happy for you to go ahead and do it. As with everything, we are not limiting what you are capable of or what you can achieve. We are just trying to steer you on the path where we think you will have the most success. But if you have always had an ambition about wanting to do separate sciences, don't let the fact that you've not got a yes in that box put you off. We will absolutely work with you to see what we can do to support you. The next thing we want you to do is choose a reserved subject. Please choose a subject that is a subject you want to study. We usually hit about 83% of students who get their first choice subjects across the board. It may be a little bit less, it may be a little bit more this year, because we've never had 320 of you choosing your options before. So put a reserved subject down, but please put a subject down that you are prepared to study. We'd like to know what you want to do when you leave education or when you leave Penistone. So step 6 is all about you telling us what the next step in your education or your employment or your career looks like. That's so we can double check that the subjects you've chosen are the right ones that lead into your career pathway. And finally, a signature from you and a signature from your parent. It might be that you also have a conversation with your achievement mentor, and if you do, you can put a tick in that box too. When you submit your options form, we will expect you to submit a personal statement, and you'll get a template for this to complete. A personal statement will just tell us a little bit about you, why you want to study the subjects you've chosen, what your aspirations are and what your interests and hobbies are. And that gives us a little bit of an insight into ensuring you're making the right choices for you. Mrs. Martin has really helpfully put together a guidance video that talks about personal statements and gives you some guidance on how you can put that document together. So we're nearly there. I'm hoping you've all listened really well. I know there's so much to take in, and I'm sorry it's been a long assembly, but it's really important that we set you on the right path to getting this right. So when you complete your options forms, and this will answer some of the questions that we had at the beginning of assembly, there are some do's and don'ts. Do ask lots of questions to help you make the right decision for you. And we've asked your subject teachers, and Mrs. Martin's working with your mentors to give you opportunity for one-to-one conversations with anyone who you need conversations with. Some of you may find that a little bit daunting. Some of you might not like the virtual forum and might find it hard to ask those questions. We're going to put a form on the website so that if you don't feel confident emailing the teacher directly or putting your hand up or speaking to anybody about that, there's an online form where we can do that piece of work for you. Please don't discount a subject because you heard that it didn't run last year. If you don't choose it this year, in case it doesn't run, it definitely won't run. While we intend running everything that we put out in our options offer, it does depend on the new number of students who opt for it. If you don't even put your hand up for that, we definitely won't get the numbers. I absolutely guarantee that a selection for a subject that didn't run last year will not be a wasted selection, and I will make sure you are not disadvantaged if that course can't run again. What we will do, if you choose a subject that we're not able to run, and it might be one that didn't run last year, but usually it's a different subject, I will come back to you and ask you if you want to make any changes to your options offer before we move forward and finalise the group. So we will make sure you're not disadvantaged if you choose a subject that doesn't run. Please don't select a subject based on the choices your friends are making and hoping that you will be in the same class. An example of this is geography. This year, year 10, we have 7 groups of geography running. It is very unlikely that you will be in the same class as a friend. And also, this is your future. You're making decisions about you now, so you have to step forward, step up and do what's right for you. Please do think about your strengths and weaknesses and what you like about the subjects you currently study. That should play a really big factor in what you choose moving forward. If one of your weaknesses is never bringing your kit to PE, then I would probably suggest that GCSE PE is not the right course for you. But it might be that art's a real strength for you, and drawing and sketching and watercolour is something that you absolutely excel at. That is something that's worth taking into consideration. Teachers, our teachers are amazing, and we all have teachers who inspire us and make us want to study certain pathways. However, I'd encourage you to think carefully about the subjects that you're studying and whether it is the teacher. Is that the only factor that makes you want to study a particular subject? We can't guarantee that the teachers you have now will be the teachers that you have in years 10 and 11. So it's really important to make a decision based on the subject and its content and not the teacher that you have. Similarly, and I don't believe this exists at Penistone Grammar School, but apparently there are some of you who don't like some teachers. Please don't discount a subject because you don't like the teacher who currently teaches you. Please make sure that you are objective as you possibly can be. Don't forget to sign up for taster sessions if you're thinking of studying a particular subject that you've not done in year 7, 8 and 9. You will not be able to get a place on a course if you haven't done your taster session. Please do think about what you want to do after year 11 and how your subjects that you're choosing link into that. And please don't panic. Please don't worry about this process. There are lots and lots of people who can help you if you are unsure about anything. We are all here to support you, and you have as much of our time as you need. Nearly there. Technical part. Just want to make this really clear, guys, so we're really transparent about this process and what this means. Incomplete forms or forms that have been completed incorrectly will be returned to you. So if you're not sure if you're doing it right, ask somebody or send it in early so that if there is a problem with it, we can get in touch with you. Although we intend running every single course we offer, if we don't get enough students, we won't be able to run that course, and we do reserve the right to withdraw the courses that we've put out there. Although we will do absolutely everything we can to get as many of you your first choice subjects, we have a limited number of places on each course, and you may be offered your reserve option. It's essential, therefore, as we've said previously, that the reserved subjects you select are ones you want to study. Priority for allocation of places will be given to those who get the forms in by the deadline. So any of you sat there thinking deadlines don't matter, in this case, they absolutely do. What will happen on the 12th of February when we get to midnight, all the forms we'll have in will go in a box. They'll come home with me, and me and Mrs. Martin will work over half term to block your subjects. Anybody whose forms come in after the 12th will not get any say or influence on what those blocks look like, and they will sit to one side. Then once we've placed everybody else, you will then get fitted in where we've got space. Please do not come back to me if that applies to you and you don't end up getting the courses that you wanted because you got your form in late. It just shows how important that deadline is. And there was a student last year who missed the deadline by 1 day and lost out on 2 of the courses that they really wanted to study. So please don't be that person. Finally, you will not be permitted to change your option choices once all places have been confirmed. We will give you opportunity to talk through your final choices and make sure they're the right ones for you after February half term and before Easter. After Easter, we will finalise the options for you, and you will get a letter that says we can now confirm your options for first study from September 2021 are X, Y and Z. Once you receive that letter, there is no going back, and they are your options that you will be studying moving forward. So please don't request any changes after that time. I am so looking forward to going through this process with you. It's been a joy working with you over the last 3 years. Although some of you sometimes make me want to pull my hair out, you are all such a good year group who are so capable of achieving amazing things. Mrs. Martin, Mrs. Mann are just full of praise for you and the potential that you all have. And this next period of time, it is really a marker in just how far you've come, but also in how far you can go. Anything you need, we are all here to support you. Your parents, older siblings, your achievement mentor, class teachers, curriculum area leaders. We're all here to make sure that you get out of this process what you need. If you need anything, you ask as many questions as you can until you're confident in the choices you're making. Good luck, Year 9. Remember where we are, and thanks for listening this afternoon. We will be in touch either this evening or tomorrow with your options forms. And if anybody needs anything in the meantime, just get in touch with myself or Mrs. Martin through the options email address. Take care, everyone. Bye.